Miracles, chapter 8 here. When Jesus came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said. "Be clean." Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, "See that you don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priests and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them." Verse 5 here, a Roman centurion demonstrates faith. When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. "Lord," he said, "my servant lies at home paralyzed, suffering terribly." Jesus said to him, "Shall I come and heal him?" The centurion replied, "Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority with soldiers under me. I tell this one, 'Go,' and he goes, and that one, 'Come,' and he comes. I say to my servant, 'Do this,' and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed and said to those following him, "Truly I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith. I say to you that many will come from the east and the west and will take their places at the feast with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the subjects of the kingdom will be thrown outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Then Jesus said to the centurion, "Go, let it be done, just as you believed it would." And his servant was healed at that moment.
Quick note. What's a centurion?
It's like a Roman, I think it was like a Roman soldier that roamed the town, like almost like a police officer at that time. At least that's my understanding from watching The Chosen.
Okay.
Jesus heals Peter's mother-in-law and many others. Verse 14. When Jesus came into Peter's house, he saw Peter's mother-in-law laying in bed with a fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she got up and began to wait on him. When evening came, many who were demon-possessed were brought to him, and he drove out the spirits with a word and healed all the sick. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet Isaiah. He took up our infirmities and bore our diseases. All right, Jesus teaches about the cost of following him. Verse 18. When Jesus saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross to the other side of the lake. Then a teacher of the law came to him and said, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Another disciple said to him, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." But Jesus told him, "Follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead." Jesus calms the storm. Verse 23. Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, "Lord, save us, we're going to drown." He replied, "You have little faith. Why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the winds and waves obey him?" Jesus sends demons into a herd of pigs. Verse 28. When he arrived at the other side in the region of the Gadarenes, 2 demon-possessed men coming from the tombs met him. They were so violent that no one could pass that way. "What do you want with us, Son of God?" they shouted. "Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Some distance from them, a large herd of pigs was feeding. The demons begged Jesus, "If you drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs." He said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the herd of pigs. The whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water. Those tending the pigs ran off, went into the town, and reported all this, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. Then the whole town went out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they pleaded with him to leave their region. that is the end of chapter 8.
Chapter 8, Roo.
Chapter 8, let's see what notes I have here.
All right. Yeah, so anything that stuck out to you?
Yeah.
Brother?
When Jesus says, "Go, let it be done as you believed it would." Jesus didn't even have to be in the same room as he didn't have to touch him, anything. It's like literally that centurion, however you pronounce that, I might be butchering it. All he had to do was have faith and know that Jesus can heal. That's all he had to do. And Jesus says, "Go, let it be done just as you believed it would." So just like you had faith, it's going to be done. And that just shows, I know we'll get into it more as we keep reading, but the faith is so important. It's like you can pray all you want, but it's like, do you truly believe? Do you truly have that faith that God can heal, that he can do this in your life? I think chapter 8 is really just faith.
A lot of faith.
A lot of faith, yeah. And just the power of
Faith.
But no, the power of Jesus. Like, he goes and he touches Peter's mother-in-law. Fever's gone. Just touches. Just like what he can do.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
tells you how great our God is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is they had the faith and they asked. They had the faith, and God opened the door to them. Something I wanted to talk about. This kind of jumps ahead to the I want to cover verse 22, or not 22, 20. It's talking about God and the cost of following him. He talks about in verse 20, and Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes and birds of air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Oh my gosh, he's a yawn. I'm so sorry about that. Wow. Okay, back to what I was saying. It kind of made me think about like the cost of following God. Is I wrote it down that the cost of following God is that you won't find rest from things of the world, but you will only find it from God. And I don't know if that's actually what he's saying, but that what made me think of it is foxes have holes and birds have air of the nest, but Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Like, he doesn't have like a full place to rest here on earth, except for that of above.
Yeah,
and
his rest is knowing the kingdom above.
Yep, and that's what he says. Like later, it was either later in the chapter or in the past, about how his kingdom is not of the earth, but it is of above. Like, his kingdom is not here. And that also makes me think about the way when we walk with God, is that we don't belong to this world anymore. We are from the world, but we are not of the world. And it just makes me think of that we're not going to find our rest here on earth anymore, except only from God.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the cost of following, is if you're like not following God and you're here on the earth, you're going to be filling your void multiple times with the same things over and over again. And you're going to find your rest here on earth. But when you are not a part of that anymore, it's like you don't find any worth in that, and you don't find rest in that, and you don't find value except of that of God. And yeah.
I really like the story of him calming the storm, where like he's sleeping and everyone's freaking out. Like, I love that. And what he says, they're like, "Oh, help us, we're going to drown." They wake him up and he's like, you have little faith. Like, why are you so afraid? And he got up and he calmed it.
Yeah.
So it's like, in your own life, there's storms that you think are so crazy, and you're like, "This is it. Like, we're going to drown. Like, Jesus, help me." And he's just like, "Dude, like, chill out. Like, I got you. And looking into your own life, like, there's storms. For me personally, I think a big storm for me was just the storm of, like I talked about before, is like my future and having that control. It's like that anxiety that just kind of eats you up in that storm, thinking, "Oh man, like how am I going to do this? How am I going to live? How am I going to do whatever?" But Jesus calm that storm. He's given me peace. Like he is the storm calmer. Every time that I pray to him, there's just like an undescribable peace that I feel. Like, and it's something that you can't experience unless you actually do it. But man, I encourage you all, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with depression, if you're worried and anxious about your future, your life, just seriously like give it up to God and trust in him, because that peace that you feel is unlike anything else. You can walk confidently knowing that no matter what comes at you, it's that firm foundation again. It's going back to that foundation. Just Jesus is there. If you build your life on him, he's sleeping through it. He's obviously not worried. He knows. I mean, the wind and the waves obey him. Mm-hmm. Everything obeys him, and it's just really cool. It's really cool that that's who we get to follow, and that's who we get to trust in. Is someone who has control of everything. We can give up that control, and that's something that's very hard for me to understand. That's something that I'm really working towards, is giving up completely that control. I've been trying so hard, but fully giving up that control has been hard. But it's something that we can do. We can confidently do that. But it is hard to practice that on a daily basis when the world tells you that you have to do this, that, the other thing. But
yeah, giving up control is something that's really hard. No, I struggle with that and in my life as well. But yeah, and then did Jesus heals 2 men with demons? Like, the fact that the demons would rather be in pigs than, because they already know what is coming. They already know what is planned for them. They already know that God wins. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they say in chapter 31, and the demon begged him. The demons begged Jesus, saying, "If you cast us out, send us away to the herd of pigs." They didn't want to go to hell because they know what that place, they know what they have in store for them is not good. And they know it. The demons know it. The demons themselves are also not even atheists. Let's point that out too. Like they know of what is destined for them, and that they would rather go to pigs. But then anyways, they're drowned in the waters.
Yeah. Yeah, so
good for them.
Good for them.
Bunch of jerks. Okay, anyways. So I did want to point that out. Just like, I know a lot of people might not understand that, but it's like they would rather go to the pigs because they didn't want to go to hell. And that's the seriousness of hell too. Like, I don't know if you, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're gonna have a party in hell." It's like
the demons don't even want to go to hell.
Demons don't even want to go. So are you sure about that? So yeah.
Yeah, think about it, man. Like, yeah, Satan probably doesn't even want to be in hell. Like, he's probably the one that, he's having this party that no one showed up to, so he's trying to like entice you, like, "Hey, you should come here, dude. Like, it's really cool. It's really awesome. Cool. Everyone's doing it." But in reality, it sucks. Party's brutal. There's nothing, nothing cool there. It's just Satan sitting there in a chair with some strobe lights, and you're like, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever." But no, it's a terrible analogy. But the demons don't even want to go to hell. I mean, man. That just shows you how terrible that place must be. To be that, I mean, separation from God. I mean, that's where you're when you're anxious, when you're depressed, when you have these, like, when you're separated from God, it's like that's when you're feeling all that stuff. And to have that for eternity, to be separated from God for eternity is like, man, that's scary. That's a scary time.
That's going to be an emptiness that you never even felt before. Like, here on earth, God is still trying to wants you. But, like, just wait until hell.
Yeah.
I hope no one experiences this, but that separation, the emptiness that you feel now, just wait until. Like, you don't even want to know what that's like.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
In this, I'm really curious now because I looked up some questions and one of them was, why was Jesus willing to heal the man with leprosy even though it made him ceremonially unclean?
Because I I feel like he's gonna heal anyone and everyone. Like everyone should know Jesus. It doesn't matter where you're at, how, if you're unclean, if you're a bad person, if you're a sinner, it's like that's who Jesus came for. Because those are the people that need healing. Those are the people that need to know. Everyone needs to know Jesus. It doesn't matter if you have leprosy. It doesn't matter if you're unclean. It doesn't matter how badly you've sinned. It's like everyone needs to know Jesus. It doesn't matter what your status is. It's like, oh, you're unclean. You have this disease. Oh, okay. Like, Jesus can heal you, and you can follow him too. Everyone can follow Jesus. No matter, like, everyone was made in the image of God. Like, everyone should be following Jesus. So why, if you have leprosy, why does that make any difference? Yeah.
Yeah, and it also shows, one, God's holiness is greater than any impurity here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that, like, just because some probably viewed him just because he was, like, unclean, that he wasn't, like, worthy of being saved.
Yeah.
And, like, I know myself, like, that's another thing of when you have a certain view on someone and a certain, like, specific view on someone because of who they are, what they've done, or the type of person they are. Like, just the fact that sometimes, I don't know, like us as Christians, we have to realize that we're all children of God, and that no one person's condition or anything like that is such a thing that we can't speak to them. Mm-hmm. And then also God's mercy and his grace crosses those boundaries and restores people's, not just like their physical, like a lot of people might pray for like physical things, but like it also heals more of the internal things as well.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And I can't wait to get to chapter 9. I'll skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
In chapter 9,
go for it.
Verse 5, he says, I'm sorry. Chapter 9, verse 2, some men brought to him a paralyzed man lying on a mat. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the man, "Take heart, your sins are forgiven." And then he goes on to heal him physically. So first, he healed him spiritually, because that's what Jesus cares about more. He heals him spiritually. He forgives his sins. Then he heals him physically. So yeah, it is so important to have that healing, that spiritual healing first. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But yeah, I thought I'd skip ahead there. Also, to your thing too, I had another thing written down about like, don't look at your brothers and sisters in Christ as problems to fix or messes to avoid, but rather let our hearts hurt for them and approach them with love rather than judgment.
Yep.
So, like, don't be afraid to go and approach these. Like, they're all our brothers and sisters in Christ. It doesn't matter what they look like, what they're doing, like, what status they have. It's like we're all human. We're all made in the image of God. Like, let's go and let's feel their hurt and come at it a place of love and not judgment, like we had talked about before. But being open to actually and being bold and going out, and that's something that I struggle with. I don't do enough of, is going up to random strangers that, look like they might need to be told about Jesus and talk to them about Jesus. That's something that I would love to get better at and do